So, now that I'm done with RWBY, I guess I'll review Strangerhood.
Strange people in a strange bed sounds like a party to me, man.
Or RWBY. RWBY was the creation of Monty Oum, the legendary animator for Red vs. Blue. Written and directed by Miles Luna and Carrie Shawcross, RWBY tells the story of 4 girls who go to a school and fight monsters. That's really all there is for Season 1. May not sound like much, but in 1 year this show exploded with popularity and cemented itself as the second flagship series of Rooster Teeth. So, let's find out why that is. Well, first of all, the show had 4 trailers, each centered around one of the main characters. My favorite overall trailer is the red trailer, but I can't deny that I love the song I Burn from the yellow trailer. The best trailers were the first 2, mostly because they had no dialogue. Why is that better? Well...
Perfect. Move up to the next car.
Melanie, who is this girl? I don't know, Milsha, but we should teach her a lesson.
Looks like we're gonna be doing this the hard way.
Yeah. But don't let that throw you off, as the voice acting improved immensely in the actual show. Speaking of the actual show, let's talk about it. We open with some exposition from no less than Jen Taylor, voice of Cortana from Halo. I think you might be in the wrong show. Anyway, we learn about the world, which uses dust, this thing, to protect humanity against the Grim, giant monsters. And 3 seasons in, that's still all we really know. Anyway, we see this guy, Roman Torchwick, who, yes, stole his look from A Clockwork Orange, as he and his men rob a dust shop and come across RWBY, who just likes to hang out there, I guess. She wipes the floor with them and is discovered by Glinda Goodwitch. Yeah. Who takes her to Professor Ozpin. Yes. Who offers her a place at Beacon, a high school for hunters and huntresses who fight against the creatures of Grimm, and says something about Silver Eyes. So, despite being 2 years too young, RWBY joins her sister in their first year at Beacon. At Beacon, RWBY meets Weiss, the uptight, pretentious heiress to some dust company. RWBY ends up blowing the 2 of them up, and Weiss storms off after a mysterious black-haired girl insults her. RWBY then meets Jean, a kid who really doesn't look like he belongs here, but he's so far the only one that seems to enjoy talking to RWBY, so he's alright in my book.
Ah, great. Where am I supposed to find another nice, quirky girl to talk to?
Oh, geez, I wonder who is important in this scene. Yeah, so let's talk about the animation. I like the art style a lot, clearly inspired by anime, and the 3D is obviously needed for Monty's fights, but it is rough around the edges. The animation does improve greatly with each season, but it can be a little hard to stomach in the first season. Anyway, moving ahead, Jean meets Pyrrha Nikos, the epically awesome warrior who's just the best. Anyway, it's pretty clear that Pyrrha is into Jean and that Weiss is into Pyrrha. She's the worst. Of course, Jean is just completely oblivious to Pyrrha's obvious attraction. Anyway, initiation begins with Ozpin throwing his students off a cliff. Well, still better than my principal. And the first person someone makes eye contact will be their partner, and that 2-person team will team up with another team to team up and be a 4-person team. Yeah. From there, you can probably tell what's going to happen. RWBY and Weiss end up as a team, Jean and Pyrrha end up together. Well, not together. Speaking of which, this crazy girl called Nora Valkyrie and this silent but awesome Lai Ren end up on the same team, but they're apparently childhood friends, so it's all good. And finally, Yang and Blake team up, starting what is probably the most popular ship in the series, Bumblebee. Anyway, through certain events, Bumblebee and White Rose team up, and Arcos and Flower Power do the same. But hey, Jean actually shows to be quite a competent leader. Same goes for RWBY, and wow, we got some good fights here. I mean, it's Monty Oum, how could it not be awesome? It's well choreographed, intense, and totally insane. Oh, and did I mention the music? Jeff and Casey Lee Williams hop over from RWBY to compose and perform music for RWBY, and it fits here more than it ever did in RWBY. I mean, I love Ice Fight and other Jeff Williams songs, but Trocadero is the true RWBY music creator. But here, the high-intensity, fast-paced jams make the fights even more amazing. Anyway, after this, the teams are formed. Team Juniper, led by Jean, and Team RWBY, led by RWBY. Brilliant. Anyway, there's an arc where Weiss and RWBY basically settle their differences, and Weiss learns to respect RWBY as her leader. If you haven't guessed, I'm not really a fan of Weiss in this first season. She's just such an annoying brat. As Professor Port says, she's gotten everything she wants in her life. Yes, I know she had a lot of home life problems, and yes, this may make her sympathetic, but it doesn't make her likable or excuse her behavior. Okay, I'll be honest, Weiss is a lot better in the next 2 seasons, but she's still one of my least favorite characters. The next arc revolves around Jean and Pyrrha. So, it turns out Jean snuck into Beacon with fake transcripts. Big surprise. And our typical bully character overhears this and starts blackmailing Jean. Jean does what he wants for a while, but when Carton tries to get Jean to hurt Pyrrha, he stands up to Carton and ends up saving Carton from a Grimm with the help of Pyrrha's semblance. No, I'm not even going to bother trying to explain this because really the show hasn't either. Anyway, Jean ends up kind of gaining Carton's respect and reconciles with Pyrrha, who agrees to help train him, and their blossoming romance begins. So, you've probably been wondering, what's up with Blake? Well, she's been kind of in the background for most of the season. Well, that ends in the last 2 episodes of the season. While hanging out in the town, they come across a faunus, a part human, part animal species, who are facing prejudice by the human majority. But I don't know what they're talking about. This guy's son just seems awesome. Blake seems to think so too, but Weiss is of course a racist. See what I mean? Anyway, Blake and Weiss get into an argument, with Weiss accusing the White Fang, a group of faunus activists, of being criminals, to which Blake responds,
"Well, maybe we were just tired of being pushed around."
Well, there we go. Going from the least developed character to one of the most in just 1 episode. Nice job. And she meets Sun. While hanging out with Sun, she reveals that she fled the White Fang after a change from a peaceful protest group to a crazed revolution. Well, this explains the Black trailer. Okay. Anyway, she still doesn't believe that the White Fang are behind the crimes that the team found out about previously, so she and Sun set out to find who did it. Meanwhile, the rest of RWBY, with the help of a girl named Penny...
Salutations!
Calling it now, she's a robot. Try to find Blake. Blake and Sun discover that old Torchwick is actually using the White Fang to steal a bunch of dust, despite not being a faunus himself. Blake and Sun then attack him, trying to figure out what he's doing with the White Fang, but Roman is actually able to hold his own. But RWBY and Penny show up, and Penny unleashes hell upon the White Fang. Yeah, she's definitely a robot. Roman escapes, the police show up, Penny disappears, Weiss and Blake make up, and that's Volume 1. Yeah, when you think about it, there's really only 2 big fight scenes, 3 if you count the fight in the first episode. The rest really is just world building. It's stuff like this that makes the first season hard to get through. Despite that, it's still a really fun watch. If you think the show has potential but is hurt from the animation problems and short episodes, the next 2 seasons are vast improvements in every way. Speaking of, I'll see you next time. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you like this video, you should probably consider subscribing. Come on, all the cool kids are doing it.